Top 10 Most Iconic DreamWorks Villains of All Time.
Introduction. DreamWorks Animation has produced some of the most iconic animated films ever, and its villains are no exception. These characters have become household names, known for their extraordinary designs, performances, and ability to frighten and captivate audiences. Welcome to the Rankspace channel. In this video, we'll deep dive into the exciting and iconic roles of these top 10 DreamWorks villains who have amazed people with their extraordinary work. This list will explore the top 10 iconic DreamWorks villains of all time. From the classic fairy tales of Shrek to the epic martial arts battles of Kung Fu Panda, these villains have left a lasting impression on audiences worldwide. Their cunning, power, and sheer evilness have made them some of the most memorable villains in animation history. So let's dive in to take a look at these special characters. 10. Captain Chantel. Shannon DuBois. Madagascar 3. 2012. Captain DuBois, a French animal control agent, takes great pleasure in her ability to locate and apprehend any animal. In Madagascar 3. Europe's Most Wanted, her repertoire needs a lion. She embarks on a solo mission to finish her collection after finding out that Alex the lion and his buddies were seen returning to New York City. While lacking in substance, DuBois is DreamWorks' funniest nemesis to date. As she sets her sights on a goal, she pursues it with an unnatural drive akin to a Terminator. Not even international borders can stop her. Frances McDormand gives a beautiful, hammy, menacing portrayal that enhances her comedy worth. 9. Kung Fu Panda 3. 2016. Although everyone adores Master Ogway as the wise kung fu instructor, he fought alongside a warlord named Kai 500 years ago. When Kai tried to steal the Kai from a panda tribe that cured Ogway, they fought, and Kai was exiled to the spirit world even though they had a brotherly affection for one another. He eventually managed to seize Ogway's Kai and flee to annihilate Ogway's legacy. Kai is a fantastic villain in Kung Fu Panda 3, despite not being as well written as Tai Lung or Shen. His aesthetic and jade color scheme portray him as an unnatural being, and the Imagine Dragons song I'm So Sorry is sampled in his solo music. Eventually, the film's themes on the distinctions between sharing information and keeping it are summed up by his capacity to steal Kai and transform his victims into jade zombies. 8. The Hidden World 2019. Grimmel the Grizzly. How to Train Your Dragon. In How to Train Your Dragon, Grimmel pursues his livelihood as a dragon hunter as Hiccup guides the Berkshire Vikings into a time of harmony and cooperation with the majestic animals. The other Viking clans, who continue to consider dragons as their foes, now look up to him as a hero. His most significant achievement was almost eradicating the formidable Night Freeze. Grimmel feels righteous because he sees dragons as pests that must be eliminated. In his eyes, what he is doing is honorable, and Hiccup insults him by advocating dragon friendliness. He serves as a gloomy reflection of what Hiccup would have turned into if he had slain Toothless, and an uncomfortably accurate portrayal of a cruel person thanks to his use of technology and in-depth knowledge of dragons. 7. Pitch Black. Rise of the Guardians 2012. Pitch Black, also known as the Boogeyman or the Nightmare King, personified humankind's anxieties and established an unchallenged reign of horror. Pitch lost his abilities when the Man in the Moon created guardians to provide humanity with wonder, hope, memories, and dreams. He reappears after being forgotten for generations to undermine children's trust in their parents. Pitch displays himself as a kind individual who desires the same adoration as the Guardians. He prefers to be feared rather than adored and takes great pleasure in turning young children's dreams into nightmares. Jude Law's cruel acting in Rise of the Guardians makes it even more painful as Pitch taunts each Guardian as they weaken from lack of belief. 6. Tai Lung-Kung Fu Panda 2008. Tai Lung was brought up to think that he was destined to obtain the Dragon Scroll and take the role of the Dragon Warrior. When Master Ogway refused to hand him the scroll, he lashed out at the Valley of Peace and attempted to seize it by force. Even though he lost, he returns when he learns that Ogway chose someone else 20 years later. The tale of Tai Lung-Kung Fu Panda illustrates the perils of pushing someone to success and letting pride get the better of you. With the help of the abilities he had acquired, Tai Lung might have found meaning in his life had he been able to accept his loss. As a result, he attached becoming the best to his identity and unloaded all of his rages on his adoptive father, Shai Fu, in one of DreamWorks' most stirring battles. 5. Fairy Godmother Shrek 2004. The Fairy Godmother is the leading supplier of charms, potions, and enchantments to provide princes and princesses their happily ever after in the fantasy country of far, far away. She is, therefore, disappointed to find that Princess Fiona wed Shrek, an ogre. In addition to Fiona being pledged to her son, Prince Charming, she also forbids an ogre from receiving a happy ending because that is the way things are now. While Lord Farquaad was a humorous parody of Disney CEO Michael Eisner, Fairy Godmother in Shrek 2 enables even more astute jokes satirizing the fairy tale genre. Her cottage home is a factory with many unhappy employees, converting one of the most potent icons of compassion into a little monster. She can quickly go from being bitter and vindictive to endearing and helpful. For Lord Shen Kung Fu Panda 2 2011, Shen experimented with his family's pyrotechnics as a child and found they could be made into weapons. Shen destroyed a hamlet of pandas after hearing a prophecy that a warrior of black and white would overcome him. As a result, he was exiled and denied his inheritance, and he vowed to take over all of China in retaliation. Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2 is undoubtedly a tremendous villain DreamWorks has ever created. Coupled with his eye-catching design and fantastic voice acting by Gary Oldman, he exudes a genuine sense of tragedy. Shen only wants to be happy, but he is too proud and damaged by his past to get over it, which puts him in perfect opposition to Po. 3. Titan Megamind 2010. Megamind device is a scheme to imbue a person with the abilities of his vanquished adversary, Met Roman, to give his life some direction. Hal Stewart, a cinematographer, acquires the skills due to an accident, but Megamind chooses to transform him into Titan, the hero. Sadly, Hal wants to use his abilities for romantic purposes and to win Rox and Richie over. How genuine Titan appears to be in Megamind is what makes him so frightening. Many egotistical people in the world believe they are entitled to other people's time and attention just because they are polite to them. The contrast between Titan's and Megamind's behavior in the film, which highlights the distinctions between being friendly and sound, is masterfully done. To Rameses, the Prince of Egypt, 1998. Rameses, the pharaoh's elder son, will take over as the next ruler of Egypt. But, in his youth, he only wants to enjoy himself with Moses, his adopted brother. However, the two brothers are doomed to enmity when Moses discovers his ancestry and Rameses ascends to his father's kingdom. Rameses is one of the film's best characters, and the Prince of Egypt is one of DreamWorks' most underappreciated classics from when they tried to compete with Disney. He cares deeply about Moses but won't admit vulnerability since he thinks doing so will end his family's dynasty. All of Ramesses' emotions are exposed, demonstrating to viewers how much this feud kills him from the inside, thanks to superb hand-drawn animation and Ralph Fiennes' fantastic performance. 1. The Wolf/Death, Puss in Boots. The Last Wish 2022, the newest villain from DreamWorks, is immediately hailed as their best one to date. The antagonist, who first introduces himself as the wolf in a clear allusion to Little Red Riding Hood, seems disturbingly eager to engage in combat with the endearing protagonist, Puss, who is on the verge of losing all of his life. The wolf is subsequently revealed to be the authentic Death, who has come to take Puss' final life as retribution for how the main character has been mismanaging his prior ones. Death will go down in history as one of the best animated villains ever created, with an iconic design, a spine-tingling voice performed magnificently by Narcos actor Wagner Moura, and a wonderfully developed characterization. It can induce existential dread in fans who think about Death's message that the enemy isn't wholly terrible. Instead, he merely wants what he's owed because Puss didn't enjoy his previous life to the fullest. So, this is for today's video, and if you have liked the video, then subscribe to our channel. It's free. See you all in the following video.